Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get an earlier video out today. If you are catching it at an earlier time, it's because there is Champions League later on tonight and all the focus is going to be on there. I'm sure everyone's going to be tuned in for PSG versus Newcastle. We'll see what happens to the Toon over there. I mean, they just beat us 4-1, so honestly, I have no reason but to say good luck to Newcastle out there. I genuinely hope they get through to the last 16. It doesn't concern us whatsoever, even though I would like it to concern us because I would like us to be playing Champions League, but we're not. So it is what it is. Newcastle, good luck out there. And for that reason, earlier video today, as I'm sure, as I've said, everyone will be looking at Champions League later. So we're going to get cracking. But before I do, firstly, I want to let you know to catch all the content on here. Make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button if you haven't done so already and the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. Preview for Chelsea versus Brighton will be dropping on Saturday. So make sure you guys are there for that one as we get into the nitty-gritty of what to expect, because now I can sense, and I know I've spoken to a lot of you and even the others that are close, everyone's a bit hesitant at the moment. Everyone's a bit like, we genuinely don't know what's going to happen. So make sure you are at the preview this Saturday, but in the meantime, we will keep up to date with all that is going on at Chelsea and beyond, and that is exactly what we're going to start off with today. So let's get cracking. Let's get cracking with a bit of news that came out late last night. What was it? Well, without any hesitation, do you remember when Roman Abramovich had Chelsea taken off him and the money, the funds, right, were stripped away from him and they were, I'm guessing, secured by the British government? What's happened to that? That happened 2 years ago. What's happened to that money? Let's get into it. Exclusive. Lord Cameron under pressure to release £2.34 billion funds from Chelsea sale. Now, for those that don't know, yes, David Cameron has made a comeback. For those that are not in the UK and you're not up to date with British politics, I don't blame you. I wish I wasn't. David Cameron is the new Foreign Secretary. I know. I thought we'd never see him again. But he's back, out of the blue, and he's now the Foreign Secretary. And because of that, this is a foreign issue, as Roman Abramovich is not in the country and is alleged with, aligned with the whole Russia-Ukraine issue, which is seen as a foreign conflict to the UK. So hence, David Cameron has to be the one to get involved. That money's still sitting there. I thought that was meant to go to Ukraine. What happened? What happened? It just goes to show. That money is sitting there, collecting interest, right? Collecting all sorts. And right now, there's no responsibility over it, or it's being messed around with, and people that have control over those funds are not doing anything with it, or sticking to the initial promise of what it was meant to go towards. There was a so-called deal that happened between the government and Roman Abramovich in terms of where that money will go as a consequence of the Chelsea sale. That's not happened. And if we're really going to call a buck, right? The whole reason as to why Chelsea are where they are at the moment, why we are where we are, why we are mid-table, why we had to go through that change, why we had to change owners, why we had to just go through the entire mayhem that we've been on for the last 2 years, has been down to this point here. Roman Abramovich getting Chelsea stripped off him, being forced to sell, and the funds being taken off him. That is it. So the fact that they haven't even done what they said they were going to do with these funds is sus. It's a massive concern, if I'm being completely honest. We've been played. Roman's been played. Roman's been robbed. We're just going to call it now. Roman Abramovich got robbed. Simple as that. Robbed by the British government. End of story. And these funds are still sitting in the hands of the British government. So it's going to be interesting to see what Lord Cameron does with this cash, I'm sure he won't do a thing. I'm pretty sure. Or if he does, then it definitely won't go to where it was meant to go to in the first place. But from a Chelsea perspective, from us as Chelsea fans, football fans, this is why Chelsea are in the mess that they're in now. We've been put into this mess by the British government. Simple. And we are now suffering the repercussions, the consequences of that. We are going through it. We're a mid-table team. Brilliant. And it looks like we're going to be a mid-table team 2 years on the bounce if we don't change our ways soon and start getting our stuff in order under the new ownership. Because right now, under their guidance, we've been in the mud since day one. So they've got to change their strategy, like I've said. They have to change their strategy. But this all came about because of this. And it's absolutely bonkers that corruption can just be in your face, easy like this, where they don't stick to a word, they don't do what they were meant to do, and the funds that came from this forced sale is still just sitting there instead of the reason why they actually did go after Roman was for a certain reason. And they stripped him off the club and forced him to sell and took that money for a reason, yet they've not put that money into their reason, right? They targeted Roman because of Ukraine. They took the club of Roman Abramovich because of Ukraine. They got him to sell because of Ukraine. They said they were going to send the money to Ukraine. The money's not been sent! So the whole thing was for nothing, or what? So we've just been played about and fiddled about with, like, it's absolutely nothing. And our football club has just been put in the gutter, basically. Roman was robbed. Plain and simple. That's why I'm showing you this. Just to clarify the situation, Roman Abramovich was absolutely robbed. So there it is. Now, let me know your thoughts on that. And we can start, I don't know, like a pub quiz in the comment section. Where do you think that money's going to end up? Let me know your thoughts and answers. Let me know your theories. Where do you think it's going to go? I'd love to hear where you think it's going to go. You can be serious. You can joke about. You can do what you want in the comments. Honestly, say what you want. Because right now, I'm pretty sure it's staying in the hands of the British government. So, but I'm curious. Where do you think it'll go? Let me know in the comments. Now, moving to on-the-field matters and current Chelsea matters in terms of the team. Chelsea are top of the table. We're top of the table. Yes, Chelsea are top of the league. You'll probably think I'm lying. You're like, no, Younes, no, we're not. We're 10th. We nearly made 11th yesterday, but Fulham managed to get a 3-2 win over Wolves despite a controversial VAR decision, as always. Of course, that happens every week now. But we're 10th. We're not top of the league. No. We're top of the league. This league. Chelsea at the top of the yellow card table in the Premier League. The Blues have 44 cautions to their name this season. The ill discipline at Chelsea is something Pochettino needs to address. Too many players are picking up cheap bookings. See James's first yellow at Newcastle for kicking the ball away, and the exact same thing happened with Sterling as he was booked. And there's the red card offence to Reece James for the second yellow. This is what I'm saying. There's no discipline. And this correctly says that Pochettino needs to address it. But if we're being honest, he's culpable too. He picked up 3 yellow cards and had a touchline ban because of it. So he's just as bad as them. If we're calling a buck, if we're calling a spade, right? So he needs to set the example. He needs to not pick up another yellow card this season. Right? Now, look, I understand when a manager can confront a referee about something that needs to be confronted about, and then the referee just decides to pull out a yellow. I don't blame Poch for that one. I don't blame any manager for that, because I, as a manager, would do the same. If I saw something that was wrong and the referee went along with it, and I'm like, no, ref, what are you doing? I would confront the ref. Now, if he booked me for it, screw it, I'll take the booking. But you have to be aware of how many bookings you're picking up here. And you might have to bite your tongue in order to protect yourself and your team from a touchline ban. He picked up 3 yellows, right? immediately after punishing Nicholas Jackson for picking up how many yellows and getting the suspension and deciding to give him a punishment at Cobham. Absolutely okay. But you have to set the example. You can't be seen as a hypocrite, you know? Say one thing, do another. You can't do that. Which, unfortunately, is the incident that we saw with the whole training scandal over the last couple of days. Say one thing, do another. We can't do that. So that's my one thing that I want to aim at Poch and say, you have to fix that. But in terms of the entire squad, the team, 44 yellow cards this season. 44 yellow cards in 13 matches. That's ridiculous. So it goes to show we've got no control. No control. So it's funny when people try to pinpoint one player or one manager of this. No, right now, what it seems like, and I'll be honest, the club has no discipline whatsoever. No, the club. This is a talented team, it seems, in terms of talent. But it's a complete nonsensical issue when it comes to discipline at the club. Not just the squad, not just the team, the club. We've got lack of control everywhere. Because if someone was setting a standard, if someone was setting an example, if someone was leading the pack, we wouldn't be having 44 yellow cards and players just losing their heads at any given moment. It wouldn't happen. Because there would be responsibilities being held. There's no discipline. I keep stressing this. So, we need to see this change immediately. Immediately. But, unfortunately, these sort of things are values that are implemented from the very top. I don't see it changing from the very top. I can see Pochettino perhaps trying to, knuckle down and whatnot. However, there's people above him. And the vibe that I get from Pochettino isn't someone who is ruthless, I think he will attempt, I think he'll try. I think he knows what he has to do, but I'm not sure if he executes it to the level that it needs to be executed at. You know that you need to, let's say, punish someone or have a word with someone. And then you go, yeah, I'm going to say this and do this and do this. Then you get to the time and you're like, no, maybe I'll just tell him a little thing, and then you back out a little bit. I maybe get that vibe from Poch that he's not 100% all in with the authority. Maybe 60, 70%, but that's not good enough. It needs to be 100%. However, I see him attempting it. In terms of the club, there's no example. Because if there was, this sort of thing would be clarified from the get-go. But it's not. And we're seeing countless examples that just keep flourishing to the surface throughout the entire time. Happened last season, happening this season. We just got no mentality at this football club whatsoever. And that's been an issue for a little while now. So, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, we move. Let me know your thoughts in relation to being top of the table in terms of yellow cards. This is a very interesting development. Let me show you and then I will analyse it for you. Let's get into it. Exclusive. Chelsea cult hero Pat Nevin dropped from club's media duties without explanation. That is Pat Nevin. Let's get into the detail. Chelsea's cult hero Pat Nevin has been dropped from the club's media duties with no further explanation. Under the latest Clear Lake Bowley ownership, Nevin faced internal questions over some of the points he made but was never asked to take anything out. Nevin questioned the transfer strategy of the owners last month, in which he wrote, for all the possession stats, chances created and positive XG, 18 months on, and it is the same old story for the all-new Clear Lake Chelsea, around £1 billion spent and they still can't find a fit regular goal scorer. He was sacked for that. Now, to clarify, this didn't happen yesterday. This didn't happen recently. That was written at some point last month, and then he was let go. However, he was dropped, sacked, without any explanation. Now, to pinpoint one thing, he has been invited to the club's annual lunch, I think, or annual dinner that takes place every time during Christmas, New Year that the club hold. So he has been, but he's been invited in the capacity of an ex-player. Much like all the others that get invited and you find the massive group of ex-players and whatnot, because Pat Nevin played for Chelsea 193 times, right? Long-standing player in Chelsea's history. He was a columnist writing in the Matchday programme and the Chelsea website and all of that, right? He was a columnist. He wrote exactly what I read out to you. He got sacked. Now, do I see anything wrong with that? No, right? Do I understand why an employer would sack someone who has written something in contradiction with what the employer wants him to write? You know, the employer sacks the employee who's criticizing the employer. You can understand why they've decided to sack him, yeah? But normally, in these sort of situations, when you see someone get sacked, let's say if it was the same capacity, a columnist, something to do with writing, and he's criticized something about his employer. Normally, when you read that criticism, it tends to be something a bit far-fetched. It tends to be something a bit like, what is this? This is nonsense, you know? And then there's repercussions, and then you get sacked. Fair enough. Pat Nevin spoke absolute truth in every word he said there. And everyone knows it. And he got chopped. Because it is a criticism of the ownership. So in terms of the sacking, I'm pretty sure when he was writing that down, he probably knew, I'm going to get sacked for this. And look, he's writing for the BBC now, so I don't think he's upset. I think he's okay, yeah? And I wish him the best. Pat Nevin is a top lad, top man, ex-player, has a very, very great status at Chelsea Football Club, is a very gentle person to communicate with. I knew a few of the others that I've communicated with him. He's a nice guy, right? He spoke honestly, truthfully, in terms of what he saw, even if it was critiquing the club, he got sacked. But that's the crazy thing. It's crazy that he can get sacked for critiquing the ownership, but his critique, everyone knows, is true. That's what's crazy. That point alone. That's what's bonkers. The critique was legit. Absolutely spot on. So, it's a testament to where Chelsea are at the moment. It's a reality check to where Chelsea are at the moment in terms of the strategy, what we have been doing. We got carried away with the transfers and the signing and the dopamine hits and all of that. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But as they say, hindsight is 20/20. Some people catch on later than others. Some people catch on earlier than others. But the truth is, when you catch on, you catch on. Right now, it's looking more and more every day, more and more likely and certain that our transfer strategy wasn't right. Or half right. Yeah, we got all the youth that we could possibly sign. Fantastic. We're sorted for the next 20 years. But we haven't got anything in to sort us out now. Which is why I said change the strategy and we can rectify that. But let's wait and see if we are going to. In the meantime, results are just going to keep going left. So Pat Nevin, I wish him the best. And it's a shame because he contributed a lot to Chelsea Football Club. Off the pitch as well in these years when he was doing media duties on Chelsea TV, in terms of the Chelsea media, the column that he was writing for, everything that he was contributing was always fantastic. He criticises one time, not asked to remove it. It's correct analysis, even though it's critique, he gets chopped. It's the name of the game. He was always going to get sacked for saying something like that. But it's the truth. So let me know your thoughts down below. And good luck to Pat Nevin. Now, there was a rumour yesterday that came out that we had signed Gabriel Moscardo. That's not true. Here's Fabrizio. PSG are set to open talks for Gabriel Moscardo. PSG are in the race and seriously interested in 2005 born midfielder, as reported earlier. Luis Campos following him closely for months. Understand Chelsea are not going to bid for Moscardo as of now. I'm glad. Because I've had enough signing kids. I don't want any more kids. People telling me he's the next Declan Rice. So I couldn't care less. Right now, I couldn't care less. I don't want us to open a nursery because that's what we're doing right now. We're opening a nursery. I can't do more kids. That's it. We are full. We have space for some experience to come in, and not just experience in terms of age. I don't want us to just sign any random 28-year-old. That's not the plan. What I would want us to do is to go and identify players that have a winning mentality, that are proven winners, that have won before, that can come in and set a standard. That's what I'm asking for. So whether they're 25, 28 or 30, regardless, do they fit that profile? Bring them in, because they're the ones that are going to help these young players that we've signed and opened the nursery for develop and grow to a certain level. Because right now, no one's guiding them. They ain't got anyone to look up to. No one's setting the example. No one's setting the discipline. Nothing. So that's why I ask for the change of strategy. I'm glad we're not signing this 18-year-old. Respectfully, as good as he seemed to be rumoured about, I'm done with signing kids. And in this position, a centre mid. Listen. Santos, Casaday, you look at Lavia, Ugochukwu, Chukwuemeka, but the others, Gallagher, and then you got... Mate, we have got so many centre mids, it's stupid now. So, they're not all going to play. So there's no point. We're good. So, anyway, that's the latest. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let's look elsewhere before we wrap up. We're going to start off with the latest at Man United, which is... Funnily enough, I remember mentioning this, I think a month ago. And I said, I reckon, it was when Højlund got injured. And I reckon, you know what? I think they might make this move. And it turns out they will. Here it is. Timo Werner. He's on the list of Man United for winter. Manchester United has already inquired about him. No offer or negotiations yet. Real Madrid not hot. Werner. Not satisfied with the situation in Leipzig, but the player's tendency at this stage is to stay at least until summer. One to watch in the next weeks. You see, I thought that they would actually go for him in January because they do need someone that's going to come in. Højlund, injuries and whatnot, they ain't got a proper centre forward that they can turn to. Timo Werner is in a situation at Leipzig where it's not going well. It's just not going well for him. Yeah? So... it would work for Man United to go and get Timo Werner, who could realistically be available, and Leipzig would be probably happy to sell. So that's one to definitely watch. And I remember, as I've said a month ago, that was my analysis. I was looking and thinking, I reckon United could move for Timo Werner just because of the time frame. It suits Man United and it suits Timo Werner. And turns out, yeah, they're interested. So let's see how that's going to work out. If it does, it would be funny because Man United would end up with Mason Mount and Timo Werner. Although Mason Mount is now being hit with, it seems like injury after injury after injury. Weird. So we won't be seeing him in the Man United-Chelsea game next week, unfortunately. I wanted to see him there. But it is what it is. So let me know down below your thoughts on Timo Werner. Possible move to Man United this January. If not, maybe the summer. I reckon the summer would be... there wouldn't be much point. They need him in Jan. The summer, I think Højlund will probably be back and, yeah, they'll probably be okay. So let me know your thoughts down below. And before we wrap up, this from Man United. Carlo Ancelotti has an offer from an important team of the Premier League that wants a new top manager for next season. A team that wears red. It's Manchester United. I'll be honest. I don't think this is true. I think this is... you know what? Man United with Jim Ratcliffe might be interested. They might, yeah. Hence, they're also interested in this. Let's see. Benfica centre-back Antonio Silva is absolutely the top target for Manchester United in the summer. United are already keen on the contract details and the plans of the top talent. He has a €100 million release clause next year. Benfica expect him to leave next summer. See how they're all coming out one by one. The fact that Carlo Ancelotti is in the midst of that, yeah, maybe they're interested if they decide to sack Ten Hag. Maybe it's a contingency plan. Maybe it's something that they're looking at and going, if we have to sack Ten Hag, who are we going to move for? Ancelotti could be available. He's negotiating at the moment. He hasn't signed. So, and to be honest, if you get Carlo Ancelotti to Man United, you got to take them seriously. You have to take them proper seriously. It's Ancelotti. That would be a needle mover for Manchester United. So, Big moves. And also in terms of Antonio Silva, that would be, it seems, a very good buy. But release clause, big money. Let's see if they were to actually do that in the summer. But up until that point, it's all guesswork. So let me know your thoughts on those rumours and those links in the comment section below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a brand new one. Thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. Thank you very much. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a brand new one. So thank you so much for watching, people. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.